Hello everybody and welcome back. Today we're going to be having a homebody day. We're going to be resetting, we're going to be cleaning, we're going to be organizing. However, before we did that, I am at Sushi.
Thank you for your order.
So we are ordering a couple of rolls for breakfast, even though it's 14:38. Don't judge me, please. Just in case you guys have not been here before, this is what their iPad looks like. They have a couple of items, so you kind of just scroll through this and then you pick what it is that you would like to eat. I like tuna and salmon.
Thank you for your order. Thank you for your order.
Seared salmon with mayo and cheese. I'm gonna be so real with you guys. I literally got home, and I think it's because I slept late yesterday that I was playing video games, but literally as soon as I got home, a wave of tiredness and relaxation just hit my body. I think I honestly had so much sushi to eat, but I still want to clean a little bit. I'm feeling a little unmotivated right now. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of clean up as much as I can before I actually get genuinely tired. It is 17:41 and there's still a little bit of light out here, so I'm going to try to clean as much as possible before it actually gets darker to the point where I really just not gonna want to do anything. So I am going to put my headphones on and I'm gonna listen to some music and let's clean a little bit. So let's talk a little bit about my cleaning process here in Japan, because it's actually very different from what I used to do in the States. One of the biggest differences is how trash is sorted. Here, garbage is separated into different categories. The main one I start with are burnables, plastics, and PET bottles. But it actually goes even further than that. There are also non-burnables, recyclables, and you have to separate things like cans and bottles as well. Plastics are also handled pretty carefully. For example, if I order food, which I do pretty often, I have to rinse out the plastic containers before putting them in the plastic bins so they can be recycled properly. And that pretty much goes for all plastic containers. When it comes to leftover food, it has to be put into a plastic bag that you can tie closed, and then that goes into the burnable trash. It's mainly for hygiene and it helps keep the bugs and stray cats from getting into the garbage. I think when it comes to cleaning in general, I've never really been a big fan of it. It's usually something I dread a little and tend to procrastinate on until the last minute. But one thing I've noticed since living in Japan is that it's made me a much more thorough person. There's a lot more attention to detail when it comes to things like cleanliness, and it's actually something I've started to appreciate more as time goes on. Another thing I've been learning while living here is how to live a bit more minimally. I know everyone has their own definition of minimalism, but for me it's really about being more intentional with what I buy, instead of purchasing things just because they might look nice sitting in my closet. I try to think about whether I actually need them or will really use them. So far, I do feel like I've been able to stick to that mindset since moving here, and in that sense, it's something that I'm really happy about. Another thing I used to dread was organizing, but honestly, I think I'm starting to actually enjoy it. I spend a lot of time at home, and I feel like when you're home that much, these are the kind of things you naturally start to pay more attention to. At least that's how it's been for me during the week. I think when it comes to cleaning and organizing, I just have to find the right way to motivate myself to start. Even though I might not feel like doing it at first, I always end up feeling accomplished and a lot better about myself once I finish the task I had in mind. I've also been trying to focus on setting more realistic and reachable goals, so things feel more manageable instead of overwhelming. But overall, I'm really glad I decided to clean and organize today, especially knowing the end result always feels worth it. I decided to take a little break on the Japanese classes I was taking because I started to feel like I was falling behind on the lessons. I had actually started the classes almost as soon as I moved to Japan, and things have been pretty busy ever since. So I felt like I needed to take a step back and review some of the early lessons to kind of refresh my memory on what I had already learned. One thing I realized about learning Japanese is that it's something you really have to practice consistently if you want to retain it, especially when it comes to the writing systems like hiragana, katakana, and kanji, which are really the building blocks of the language. Learning Japanese has definitely been both challenging and rewarding, but overall I think it's worth the effort, especially since I'll be living here for a while. Another thing I've been wanting to focus more on is journaling. I feel like it's something I haven't really dedicated enough time to lately. I actually got a new journal from Universal Studios and it's completely blank, so I thought this would be the perfect time to finally start writing in it. Sometimes the hardest part about journaling is just figuring out where to begin. I'm curious though, what are some of the things you guys usually journal about, or how do you normally start your journal entries? Now that we have journaled and clean, it is now 1956 and we are hungry. But there's no food here, as always. So what the plan is, we are going to order food. As to what we will order... Oh my gosh, there's a fly! How annoying. As to what we are actually going to order for food, I have no idea. Although there is a couple of options. I just had curry, but we had Indian curry, not Japanese curry. Although we also had Japanese curry just recently. So we ended up getting curry again. This is the naan. And here we have our butter chicken. You can see it was the same container as earlier, as when I was washing the container out before putting it into the plastics. So this is round 2. I usually get mine in mild while he gets his in hot. So we can see here the hot version and the mild. And now we have the lemon tea. Alright, well, here is your hot, your